So concern is in the air surrounding UFC 311's co-main event between Merab Dvalishvili and Umar Nurmagomedov. Now, if you're like, Jake, what the hell are you talking about, man? All's good. UFC 311's right around the corner. I'm right there with you, and I'm hoping that this isn't anything major. And what I'm talking about is Umar Nurmagomedov sat down with Brett Okamoto. They did an interview, and this interview was posted to where it was then made private. And that is concerning to me, right? Because a lot of people are going to say, listen, it's just an interview, man. It's just an interview. It's no big deal. But it's what Umar said in this interview that we're actually going to take a look at in this video, because there's a channel out here. I'll go ahead and link them down below to where they put some translations with this interview. And so this is on YouTube, right? So that's how I was able to find this. So I pulled some time codes for us to listen to, but we're going to hear what Umar had to say because he has a lot of confidence coming into this matchup with Merab. I mean, he's just absolutely stone cold minded coming into this fight with Merab, but he talks about an injury, right? And that's kind of what's got some people concerned as to, is that why this interview was taken down? Was it Team Habib? Was it management? Was it PR? Was it somebody that said, you got to take this down? We can't have that out there. Who knows? But one thing that I think is important to note before we get into this, guys, is we almost were conditioned a little bit in the build-up to UFC 303 that when stuff like this happens, it's that not that you want to hit the panic button, but our antennas tend to go up. Because what I'm talking about is when Conor McGregor was supposed to fight Michael Chandler, the press conference got canceled. Then it was the full fight uploads were, with Conor McGregor, those were taken down to some funky things going on with the pre-ordering of the pay-per-view. And it seems to be a domino effect around a fight when things start to kind of go on that are a little bit strange, because an interview getting taken down, you might say, well, it's not that big of a deal. What's interesting to me is whenever these sit-down interviews get posted, it's not just, oh, we recorded an interview and we're just going to throw it up on the YouTube channel. No, they sit down, they do some editing, they, clip these, they put them together. Numerous eyeballs get to see the interview and they kind of are checking to make sure everything's good before they put this out. So to me, there was something in this that was maybe a little alarming. And they're like, maybe we should take that down, or maybe we're overthinking it, maybe. And I'm hoping that that's all it is. But to give us some peace of mind before we get into that and kind of, I don't want to say shut that down, but hopefully make us feel a little better. Back in November, right, Umar Nurmagomedov made this post a picture of himself saying, I had a small arm fracture and couldn't perform in January. My arm is fine now and I'm open to any offers, anyone, anywhere. And then if we scroll down here, there is the time and date, November 30th, 2024. So that's a little more recent. And then here is the video that was made private. That was, as of me recording this video, it's still private to this time. So we're going to take a look at this here because, like I said, this channel has it uploaded. The mindset of Umar is stone cold coming into this against Merab, which if you're looking for, a breakdown on the Merab interview, I will go ahead and link that below. Merab was absolutely rattled, right? He was basically full of excuses. He was just kind of all over the place and basically showing that he didn't want this fight with Umar Nurmagomedov, which I feel like a lot of us knew that coming in, but Merab was very rattled, right? Now, talk about it in that video to where in this one, Umar's just a completely different dude. He's stone cold minded. He's locked in on the task at hand, and you're going to see that in this interview. But we're going to hear his thoughts on Merab kind of playing duck, duck, goose a little bit with Umar, and then we will eventually get into the clip of where he talks about having an injury prior, and kind of, I think that's where people's antennas are starting to go up. So let's hop into this.
Because it has been weird that he refuses to say your name.
He just want to fight with a real guy who can beat, It not means I really 100% go inside the cage and smash him, not. He know other guys, he will beat. For me, it's gonna be hard. That's why he tried to be champion long time. He want to fight with O'Malley, with Piotr Jan or someone else, because of, these guys, easy money. Me, not. For me, he have to go deep waters,
Exactly. This is what this is what I've been talking about, guys, for so long now. Piotr Jan, Sean O'Malley, those are good matchups for Merab Dvalishvili, and they're big names in the division. Merab's already fought those guys. He stylistically is a problem for them, to where Umar, he's a problem for Merab. Merab was hoping to sit on the throne, cherry pick a couple of fights, which kind of fair play because that's what Sean O'Malley did by cherry picking the Marlon Chito Vera rematch. So I understand that. But you hear Umar saying exactly what a lot of us have been thinking. He was trying to cherry pick a couple of rematches to where he's stylistically a problem for those guys, and those should be, they're not easy fights, right? O'Malley and Yan are tough fights no matter who, who's fighting them. But Merab 50-45 Yan. Merab went out there and beat Sean O'Malley. Like, you already beat those guys, but you knew the Umar matchup was the one that has Merab concerned, which is why he wasn't chomping at the bit to take this fight.
For me, it's gonna be a long night. I will not give him to like takedowns. He will not control me. I have good skills, like striking skills, and I can make for him a lot of problems. That's why. But when we go to inside the cage, I will not think he's scared to me. I will know this is a man who will try to beat me. I'm the man who I am like. I will try to smash him, and it's gonna be battle, And what I knew, like what I understand, he don't wanna take risk fight.
Exactly, right? So he's saying exactly what a lot of us have thought. So this is the mindset of Umar. It's been the mindset of a lot of the fan base. Merab doesn't want this fight. It's a risky fight. It's a guy that, look, what does Merab bring to the table? Pace, wrestling, and he just doesn't get tired, right? And he's able to just shoot a million takedowns, stay in your face, and he's able to just basically dominantly beat you by decision. Well, if you throw Umar in there with him, what does he do better than Umar, other than you could say probably has a better gas tank than Umar, even though I think Umar has a good gas tank. Umar's a much better striker. He's got better submissions. He's got very, very good grappling of his own, probably better than Merab. It's just the pace of Merab. So if you put Umar in there, a lot of Merab's advantages that he has over other people, he does not have in a fight against Umar.
He can beat me. It can happen. It's not gonna break me. I will be same Umar. Fight is fight. Everybody can lose. Everybody can win. We're not talking about what's gonna happen in the fight. If we're talking about scared, I think he just want to take a risk, hard fight.
Which is, again, what we've all kind of been saying. He wanted to cherry pick against Yan, wanted to cherry pick against Sean. Those aren't easy fights, but they are better stylistic matchups for him. We basically all know that at this point. But here, listen to what he has to say here, because, on the questions of some fans out there have been like, Merab's going to pull out of the fight. I don't think Merab's pulling out of any fight, man. Like, I think that he's clearly unhappy that the UFC, pushed him into this fight against Umar. Merab doesn't pull out of fights, man. Merab's going to show up. He's going to show up, and you have to be mad first. Like, he's going to show up. He's going to fight Umar. It's just a matter of this wasn't the fight that he wanted next. So that's why he's unhappy. I have no doubts that Merab is going to show up fight night, though.
Do you think at any point in the next 4 weeks you will be concerned that he will pull out?
I will not surprise it. And nobody will surprise it. Even right now, I saw in commentary or in Twitter, they said he will pull out. But he never pulled out before. Yes, I think he will, I hope he will not, and it's a fight gonna happen.
So again, got to give Merab his props, man. The guy didn't pull out of fights, man. He's going to show up. Obviously, this wasn't the fight that he wanted. He'll show up, man. He'll show up. So at least I would expect, right? And so you hear what Umar's saying, he's like, and hopefully Merab shows up, because I'm really looking forward to this fight, and hopefully, everything is okay with Umar. As we're going to get into that right now about the injury part, because this, to me, this is concerning, man. This is concerning, and I don't know that that's why the interviews take it down, but if you look at this interview and you try to scratch your head as I've went back and listened to this, what would make them take this down, other than all I can think about is this part that we're going to hear right now?
Not that long ago, you wrote that you had a small injury in your arm, so you wouldn't be able to fight in January.
After I was in Dagestan, I punched my arm. I go to the show doctor, and I show them they not MRI other when they check bone. How is it?
X-ray.
X-ray, yes. They did X-ray, and they said you broke.
Which, by the way, I want to give credit to Umar, man. His English has gotten really, really good in such a short period of time. So props to him, man.
After that, after 20 days, I go again. Even when I was working, I was running. I want to still in shape, Even the time I going to try to run, try to do shadow boxing, try to be in shape. And after 20 days, I go again, and it's become much better. Even my punches, other things, I do grapple, I can do wrestling class, everything I can do. And then I called my manager Ali, and I said to him, hey, I want to fight. He said, but we said we injured. I said, hey, I told you take this fight, but I told. And my manager and my brother said, hey, you crazy, you can't fight like that. And they said no, and they asked again.
So they said no. So the people around him were like, nah, man, you're not ready to take the fight. And then you could hear Umar's pushing back though. He's like, no, I want the fight.
Called me again, we will fight with Mirab. Of course, I already asked to Ali, please make it fight anytime. I want to fight before Ramadan. If Mirab will fight in March, in Ramadan, I want to be active. And what said Mirab in the press conference, you have to be active. I'm not active because of not me. Because of you, they can find for me opponents.
So this is what concerns me, right? And I think that this is where a lot of people are starting to get kind of nervous when you hear that and you hear about an injury and you hear that it wasn't all that long ago and some of these different things to where it's like, we want to fight in January. Now we don't want to fight in January. And it's like, no, we are good for January. That makes people wonder, man. You know what I mean? And even though it sounds like everything's okay and he's healthy, for the interview to be taken down and you listen to any section of this is the part that I think has people curious and has people kind of scratching their head I don't know, man. That's interesting, right? And, people are going to say, well, the UFC said certain things to Merab and it may contradict kind of what Umar's saying. I don't know that it's necessarily that. I think there's a little bit of concern when this interview went out and the way that it was going to look. But then listen to this, right? Because one of the things with Merab that I broke down in his interview, they were looking to kind of utilize Ramadan as a time to fight somebody else. So wait until Ramadan is occurring to fight somebody else because they know that Umar will probably not be available. So listen to kind of Umar. He's like, we wanted to fight before Ramadan or after.
In your mind, had you kind of had given up on the idea that this fight would happen before Ramadan, though? In your mind, had you kind of been like, this fight?
Yes, it was a plan, fight before Ramadan, and after Ramadan in May, maybe.
You said there's a fight.
So again, he laid it out there. He's like either before Ramadan or after. And you heard Merab in his interview. They were looking like maybe I could defend against Jan and then fight O'Malley and then get to Umar Nurmagomedov. So that's why Merab is so, I think, frustrated around this. He was trying to play the waiting game. He was trying to wait until Ramadan comes around and be like, oh, look, I can take a fight now. So he could go out there and fight a Piotr Jan, fight a Sean O'Malley. So, but it's good that this fight is happening. I'm just hoping that everything's okay health-wise here with Umar coming into this. But listen to his mindset, man, coming into this, because that's what I was telling you before. He is confident and just sounds scary with this interview. I know people are out there, they took the interview down so Merab doesn't pull out of the fight. I don't think it's that, but I mean, he sounds confident, stone cold in this, man.
Fight and anything could happen. Maybe he could beat you. How? If Merab wins this fight, how do you think he would beat you?
He will not. I can't imagine how he will beat me. How? He can hold me? Okay. Maybe he will take me down one time, but he have to hold me there. He can't. And he have to punch. It's not gonna be how he did always. I'm not the person who will going to crazy. I can wrestle too. Don't forget about that. But I can finish you. If you will leave me back, I'm gonna choke you.
So what's the differences between Merab and Umar? A lot, right? Yeah, Merab has good wrestling. He has good pressure and cardio, or good pace and cardio. But Umar is a much better overall fighter, and he has the answers for a guy like Merab. So it appears, right? Obviously, we're going to have to see come fight night. I believe he has the answers. But you hear what he's saying. He's like, I'm a finisher. I can finish the fight. I have way better striking than you. I have the wrestling to keep the fight on the feet. Or if you do try to entertain the grappling, I can make you pay for it. I can take your back and choke you out. So that confidence that Umar's carrying into this, it's terrifying to me, man, if I was Merab.
Be careful.
Last question I have is that you said he sees the rest of the division and it's easy money, except for you. Mm-hmm. Is he easy money for you? And is there anybody in this division that is not easy money for you?
So this is where he says Corey Sandhagen is his hardest fight in the division. Now, I do agree with that to a degree, right? I think Corey Sandhagen is, Corey Sandhagen's got good striking, good fight IQ, pretty solid wrestling. It's improved over the years, good submissions. He switches stances. He's a very well-rounded fighter. Then you got Petr Yan, who's got outstanding striking, probably the best boxing in the division for sure, some of the best in the UFC. He's got good grappling of his own. Those are probably the two most well-rounded guys. But I think Merab is also a tough challenge for Umar because of the unique abilities that Merab brings to the table that you just don't see everywhere. But I do kind of agree with Umar in the sense that I do think Corey is one of the hardest stylistic matchups for Umar. But man, Yan versus Umar would be an amazing fight also.
It's gonna be cocky if I will say he's easy money. I think he's not. He's a good fighter, But hardest challenge in my division, I think, is Corey.
He's Cody.
Yes.
And you already got through him.
This fight was the hardest in my life. It's gonna be what happened 18 January.
So how terrifying is that? He thinks that his hardest fight in the division is a guy that he 50-45'd. That's terrifying because if that actually holds up, well, nobody in the division has a shot at beating this guy, man. And I know that, I'm a big Umar fan, right? But we're putting that kind of to the side for a second. I do believe that Merab is a very hard fight for Umar. While I think Umar is a better overall fighter, more ways to finish the fight, I think he's way more well-rounded than Merab. It's the style that Merab brings that is alien-like that you just don't see everywhere else, right? And when you go in there, it's like guys feel like they're like, oh, he doesn't hit hard, he doesn't really have a finishing threat. But when a guy keeps shooting takedown after takedown after takedown and doesn't get deterred by getting them stuffed, that is just a different kind of guy that you're in there with. So for Umar to say that this isn't easy money, he's taking this serious. I think that he has the right mindset. He's stone cold coming into this, but he recognizes Merab is a tough challenge. And that's why I'm so excited for this fight, because I don't think that this is Umar dominates or Merab dominates. I think this is a good back and forth type of fight to where we're going to see a very competitive matchup between the two. That's why I wanted this fight. Not because so much Merab was trying to duck or Umar was calling for this fight. Umar, in my opinion, was the clear-cut next guy in line for the title. Merab was, you want to be the top champ, man. You want to go in there and fight the next best guy, like how DDP is trying to do, like how Bilal is trying to do. You want to fight the next best guy. Umar's the next best guy, and stylistically, it's a very compelling matchup because I believe that Umar is probably the only guy in the division who can beat Merab and definitely give him fits in this matchup. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a like, comment your thoughts down below, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you do not miss an upload. I hope all is good for UFC 311 regarding this fight, man. So let's keep on, hopefully everything's good, man. So hope you guys enjoyed this.